Hey, 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 what's up, everyone? It's your girl, Cherrell. I'm the host of Let's Talk the Show, and this ain't a podcast. I want to thank y'all for tuning in this Tuesday, like y'all do every Tuesday. But before we go any further, make sure you click that lower arrow, the arrow in your lower right corner, and share this live with 3 friends you think will love the conversation. We have a great show in store. We have a great show in store. Episode I think is actually very special to myself, and I'm super excited to get started, you guys. Where? Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so we got our special guests that have joined you guys. We're going to go ahead and get this on here. So we are going to go ahead and get this on here. Give me 1 second, you guys. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Okay. Go ahead and get her in here. We are talking about poetry and romance tonight, you guys, with Galaxy. I am so excited. You guys are going to love it. Hey!
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Okay, so I usually kick it off with something that you're grateful for. So I'll go first and I'll let you go. I'm grateful. Like, my blessings is just pouring in. So I'm just grateful. God's just really looking out for me right now. So He always looking out for me, but right now He really is like, doing His thing. So that's what I'm grateful for. My blessings is pouring in. What about you?
I like that. I've been feeling real abundant lately too. So
right?
I'm feeling that vibe. Today I want to say I'm grateful for my family, just because they changed my life in so many different ways, and without them, I wouldn't be able to do any of the stuff that I'm doing now. So whether it's like my sister supporting me, or my husband supporting me, or my kids just pushing me, like just all my family, my friends, I'm grateful for them. Those are my people.
We had a really good show. First off, I just want to say, I saw this clip. I think I saw it when you first posted, but I rewatched it today. And I was just like, yo, she's really fire. I'm really excited to do the show. I was already excited because first of all, I've done Shot Show with you. I had you and your husband on. So it's like, now she's coming to Black. She's spinning the Black again. I was just like so excited to have you. So first off, let's get into it. How you get into poetry?
Okay, so funny story. I was writing journalism in high school. And then when I got to I love writing. Writing is just my favorite thing to do. And so I was doing journalism, and then I did an internship over the summer, and I was like, you know what? This is not for me. So then I got to college, and I was like, I still want to do some type of writing, but I didn't know what to do. And me and one of my close friends, my best friend, we were picking classes, and we picked a poetry class. So we in this poetry class, and then for extra credit, they were like, if you go to an open mic, then you'll get extra credit. And I was like, okay, let's go. So we end up going to this open mic, and it ended up being hosted by this poetry group. And it was just like different than I ever experienced, because it wasn't like Romeo and Juliet poetry, which is what I was thinking it was going to be. It was more like performative, So I ended up going. I sucked at the time, but my best friend, he was like super amazing, and they was all like, we want him to be a part of the group. And I was like, dang, I'm on the sideline. So I still end up joining the group, and I got progressively better. And that's pretty much how I got started. Like, I joined this poetry group when I was in college, and now like the people that I met in that group, they're still my closest friends to this day. So that's how it all started.
That's dope.
Looking for some extra credit.
Right, it's extra credit. I love this. I think I was really excited to have you on the show to do a solo episode, because I used to write poetry as a kid. Like, I used to write poetry. That was like before I went on to drawing, then I went dancing, then I got into sports. But initially, as a kid, to relieve stress, I wrote poetry, and I started in middle school. So I was like, this is gonna be so dope. Like, I'm feeling going back to, I feel like my roots with having you on the show. So I'm so excited.
Yes, get back to it.
Right. Okay. So do you remember like the very first poem you wrote? Like, and how did you come up with that?
So the first poem I ever wrote, and I actually did perform this at that open mic, it was like a little love poem, when I was like, aww, thinking about you is something I often do. The way you smile, the way you laugh, something like that. Like that was literally my first poem.
I love it. Oh my God. I don't know why. Something about poetry just always seems so intimate. I don't care what the fuck it's about. It just always seems like I don't know. It just seems so intimate. Do you feel like that when you perform? Do you always feel like it's an intimate thing?
I feel like it's 50-50 because like, oh my gosh, you will never know when you go to an open mic or like a slam or any poetry event. Somebody might just say something and just crack open a piece of your spirit. You be like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Like it's just feelings. And even I think it's just all emotions wrapped together. Like it's not always intimate because sometimes it's comedy, you know. Sometimes people really making you laugh. Sometimes people making you cry. Some people really put a spark under you and be like, dang, I need to start doing more for the Black community. You know, it's all the feelings, all of them.
It's so funny you said it because now I'm sitting here trying to figure out if I'm sure I've heard a poem that has funny moments in it, but I feel like for the bulk of them, they're either centered around love, or you know, social justice. I'm trying to figure out if I've ever heard a comedy poem.
Yeah, so
now
okay.
I want to go look for one.
Let me tell you, I'm about to tell you exactly who you need to go do. Okay, so it's a guy, his name is Brave Nate. He's from Dayton, Ohio, and he has this poem about being a thief. It's literally like one of the funniest pieces I can think of off the top of my head.
Really?
And like it's funny from the beginning to the end. He's talking about like stealing, and it's hilarious.
I need to go look. I'm definitely gonna look that up because I was just thinking like, damn, I don't think I've ever heard a poem of just a comedy. Okay, so first off, I just want to say that this was something that a lot of people probably wrote in their free time where they might be good at on the side. And it's like, when you go out and perform, you make money, you get accolades from it. Like, what is that like? This literally started off as an extra credit project. Like, now you literally can be like, even though if it's not your full-time job, you can still say, I make money off of writing poetry. Like, that's a unique, like, you're a poet. What is that like? Like, what is that like?
It's very satisfying. Let me say that. It's very satisfying. And it's actually a lot easier in comparison to a lot of other jobs that I've done in the past. It's actually a lot easier. So it's like, okay, let me say this. First off, I love the aspect of performing. So that's something, and it's like a thrill. It's like a rush. It's like the best feeling ever. Doing slams, it's hard to describe, but it's kind of like being at a concert. It's like you were a performer at a concert. So like being a professional poet, I get paid kind of like two separate ways. Like, so one is competitively, and then second is like people booking me to perform. And so it's basically like, for example, like I'll go to a slam and I'll like compete, and then it might be people in the audience that's like, oh my gosh, I really love, you know, what you did. I want you to come perform at my event. And that's one thing that happened recently. Like I was at a slam out in Pontiac, and one of the girls was like, I'm having an open mic soon, I want you to be there. And then I end up getting booked to perform there. But the feeling of it all is like 3 minutes, like a 3-minute rush. You know what I mean? Like the last slam, one of the last slams I went to here in the city, packed, completely sold out crowd, you know, and then you get on stage and like some slams got time limits, some don't, but you up there and you like, I got 3 minutes to wow these people, you know, like I gotta write something that people are gonna remember, you know, like I gotta do something that people gonna remember, you know. And so you literally on stage with words, you know, convincing people like that was the sweetest thing I ever heard.
Right. What is that process like when you said, like, do you have topics you choose to write about, or can anything inspire you to write?
Like, what do I like to write about myself?
Yeah, no, just the writing process. What is that process like? Do you pick something, or you just like, I feel this?
Okay, my writing process is so weird. So first of all, the main thing that I do for writing is meditating. So I let the poetry come to me. So I like to listen to things, like I get a spark. So let's say we having a conversation and you say something, I might write down a line that you say, and then that'll feed off of, you know, and then I'll feed off of it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, sometimes one of my most popular pieces, I try to think all the time, like, where did I get this idea from? Like, how did I write this? Like, I might have heard somebody mention something and I was like, oh, I'm about to take it to
Ooh,
another level, you know,
I like
like,
that.
yeah. So, and then I like to challenge myself too. So like my most
Bring it
recent
out.
piece that I wrote called Inferno, I was like, I want to write a
That's what
poem
the
about
clip is
fire.
about the 100 degrees. Is that clip, the
Yeah.
lava? First of all, that
Yes.
shit fire. Like for real. Like I was like, when I initially heard the clip when you posted it, and I got chills. I was like, oh, this shit heat. I can feel it.
Thank
I can
you.
feel it. And I listened to it again. I was like, yo, this shit is. I'm sorry to cut you off, but that shit was good. That was really good. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was like for real. I literally was like, I want to write something about fire. And with this piece, I was like, I want to write something about fire. And then I started thinking something, and I had one part that I knew I wanted to say. It was like one line. I was like, I want to say this, and then I kind of like start building around it. And I tell people like I meditate and I write my pieces in my head, which is why I can memorize so quickly because I'd be like, okay, I know I want to say this, and then I'll say something after, and then I'm like, oh, this will fit here. And I remember the day when I started writing that piece, I said the first line that I wanted to say, then I got in the shower, then I got out the shower and I walked straight to Kyle and I was like, I got some extra stuff. And I spit the lines and he was like, you tell me that you write your stuff in your head, but this is like, wow, like I never actually saw you like in action doing it. And I'm like, yeah. So I be like doing that, and then I write, and then I have to transfer it to like my notepad, and then I do like editing where, because when you memorize it in your head or write in your head, it's easier to perform because you like, I know what I'm gonna say when I get on
Right.
stage. But sometimes what you say and what you write is not the same. So
Right.
like getting into that mode of like, okay, let me write this down quick before I forget something, so I can actually have it and I'll look over it and then do it like that. But yeah, I like to for the most part, I like to write what I'm sparked by. Like if someone, if I hear something, I like to keep it natural. Now, if people do book me to write on specific topics though.
Right.
So I did like a Juneteenth piece recently for Boss Blue, and they hired me to actually write a piece like around a specific topic. So I do that too, but that's not like when I go out and perform, you usually don't hear like the pieces that I get commissioned to do.
Right. This first of all, that's dope as fuck. I love that poem. I love the
Thank
poem.
you.
And I watched the clip, and in the part you goes, you know what they say, stars don't shine, they burn. And I was like, God damn, she's right. I learned it in science class. I learned that in science class. I literally was like, yo, she's fire as fuck because stars do not shine, they burn. And it literally, they tell you in science class that 9 times out of 10, if you're seeing a star, it probably is already burned out. You're just so far away, you just still see it burning. I was like, damn, this was heat. Like, I was just like, okay, I'm fucking with
layers.
this.
I layered.
It was good. I just want to let me. If nobody else told you that shit was good, that shit was fucking fire. I know they told you that shit was good. I love that. So that's like, I know you had your skincare line before, so you're used to getting or dealing with the public for the most part. But it's different writing and performing. What is your process like when it comes to, some people get jitters before they go on stage. Some people get a thrill, so that is no problem. But it's like, what is that like when you get ready to go on stage? What are you thinking about?
Okay, so let me tell this story. So I'm when most people meet me, they know that I'm like I'm naturally good at public speaking. However, the first time I ever had to do a presentation, I cried. Like
What?
I was so scared, I broke down. I think I was in the 6th grade.
What?
And I broke down, and everybody's like, why are you freaking out? And I had no idea why. But after that day, that was the last time I ever freaked out. Like I think that was my 3rd time, because when I was a real small child, I had like a choir solo, and I got sick, threw up, scared.
What?
But after 6th grade, like I don't know, I think my teacher and everybody, like it was a small, intimate setting. So when I was freaking out, it was a lot of support around me, and so I kind of took whatever that person was telling me in, and it kind of stuck with me now. So I really don't get stage fright as much, but I always just like I try to give myself like a pep talk before I get on stage. So I have this piece called Why So Serious, and in the piece towards the end, I'd be like, I don't lose. Like I'd be like, I don't lose. And so anytime if you see me on stage and I'm like this, and then I lift my head up and I'm smiling, it's because I just said that to myself like right before, like just to kind of like knock off anything extra, you know, and just get myself into that mindset of like, you about to kill it. Like you already,
Right.
you, it's like, I told somebody like that piece that I made is like an affirmation to myself. It's like a lot, some like, you know, it's a lot of stuff that's just like kind of braggy, or, you know, I'm just like I'm just like bigging myself up. Like, you know, like I'm just speaking a lot of confidence, and that piece I say to myself because I'm like, I need that for me. And so I say that before I perform, like, you don't lose. You already said this. Like you told everybody this, so now do it.
I love that. Actually, I really am glad I got you on the show. Like this is like I'm just loving this. I really am. Okay,
I'm happy you had me too. I love talking about stuff like this.
So I think I found a poet, he was on Def Jam. It was like this was like so long ago. They had like Poetry Night or something.
Yeah,
and it
I
was
know
on
exactly what
BT.
you're
And
talking
so
about.
Shihan is like probably one of my favorite poets. I like follow him on social media and every day, and on social media and everything. So who would you say is like one of your favorite poets?
Ooh, favorite poets?
Yeah.
Okay, so I really like this guy from Baltimore named Black Chakra. He is fire. Like he's really, really good.
I might follow him or something.
Yeah, I
Okay,
really
so go
like
ahead.
him. And then locally, I also really like Microphone Phelps. Shout out to him. He's really fire too. He's really creative. Mac, Urban Legend, Owasaki, and Ari Lane. Those some of my like. That's my list of people right there. I
Ooh,
rock with. And
I
I'm sure
like
I'm
it.
forgetting some other people because I run across so many people like in and out, but it's like some people just really draw you in and like, oh my gosh. Like the guy Black Chakra, when I hear him spit, I'm like, I need to write more. I need to get better, you know. And then sometimes you just hear stuff that's just like so creative. Like when I heard Microphone Phelps the first time do it, he got a signature piece called You Talk Too Much. I was like, man, that was so creative. Like I really like when people spark my creativity. That's not always like a message or like, you know, trauma or like love, you know, when somebody can actually do
Yeah.
something creative that's not one of those topics. I'm
Mhm.
always like, I like that.
So you made a good point about people mastering their craft. How do you master poetry? I mean, I know you can easily just write better. It's like, oh, get, but I feel like poetry is pure. That's like, I don't know if there's any other art form that's pure creativity outside of maybe dance and painting. But how do you master writing poetry?
Well, I think it's all mastery of self because
Mm.
one thing that they teach you in Detroit poetry scene is poetry can be anything. So it's not
Ooh.
necessarily, you know, like trying to be like my poetry is it's about self elevation, you know, because you want to feel like this is better than the last thing I did. Or, you
Right.
know, like I reached more people. It just really depends on what your goal is. Now, if you're doing it professionally, then of course the mastery is in memorizing, you know, becoming a better performer, you know, staying
Yeah.
within the time frames that you have, things like that, or writing on
Ooh.
specific topics. Like here in Detroit, we have like the Motown Mic, which is a theme-based poetry competition where you actually have to write on the topic of Motown and then compete as well. So, you know, it's always just layers of whatever you are striving for with your poetry, because some people getting better and working on evolving in their craft is taking it from the notebook and actually producing the book. Some people are, you know, taking their book and actually getting on stage and performing their poetry and not just writing it, you know? And for
Right.
me, it's like, can I get more creative? Like, can I use a little bit more metaphors? Can I use similes? You know, can I try a different
Yeah.
writing style? I just like to be a little bit
Yeah.
more creative and, you know, not be in a box, just try a lot of different things. You know, I'm like, my goal right now is to get a perfect score in a slam of 90, like 30 points every 30 points, like 30, 30, 30. So I haven't done that yet. I got 2 out of 3, but still not 3 out of 3 yet. So that's like my next goal. So it's like,
I like
what
that.
can I do to get on stage and be undeniable? Like, I know this piece is gonna drop everybody. Like that's what I want to do
I love.
without hurting people, you know, without having a trigger warning. Like that's my
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah, I love that. I love that because I feel like trauma is so easy. You can that's easily. But I love that. That's
Exactly.
really good. I'm
Yep,
over
that's
here
my
like, yeah, well,
thing. It's
I'm
like
over here like, yeah, what?
you can make people
Yeah.
feel without making them feel hurt, or, you know, opening up a door that somebody wasn't expecting sometimes when you come into like an event. So that's always my thing, is like, what else can I do? That's why I really don't, even though it is a lot of value in writing poetry to release trauma, I just haven't found that line, you know, where I feel I can bring it to stage where I feel like, you know, it's not hurting anybody, or I feel like, you know, pulling on extra strings. I like a clean fight, just creative.
I like this. I love, first of all, I love this. I'm sorry, give me just one moment. I do have a towel, y'all. 1 second, you guys.
It's okay. And if you're watching out there while she's gone, make sure y'all follow me, follow her, and make sure that y'all sharing this video with other people, because a lot of people need to hear this. We're trying to grow together. And all Black people don't always have platforms. And so we need to take care of our people that do got platforms. So, Cherrell, when you go back and listen to this part, I hope you appreciate it, because I appreciate you having me here on here today. And I'm going to take the time to share my video with some people. And if you're watching, drop a comment or something. No, we can talk.
Okay, I'm back. So sorry. Thank y'all for waiting.
Oh, it's okay. I was telling them to appreciate our Black platforms.
Right? Okay. Definitely put yours in there, because they definitely gotta follow you. So we talked a little bit about everything. Actually, I wanted to talk about because I think it's a big thing of getting kids, not necessarily kids, because my audience is definitely not children, but I always want to include a way or just a piece of conversation about how kids can benefit from this. And I feel like I use it as a child as a stress reliever for my own mental health in middle school. And I feel like a lot of kids outside of rappers, because I feel like the first avenue they ever hear about poetry is going straight into rap. And I don't even know if they even had that. I knew growing up that was a conversation we had, with that rap was poetry. It was just poetry, to a beat, spit a certain way. So it's like, do you still think that kids like can benefit? I feel like they could. Do you still think that poetry could benefit kids, or kids could benefit from
100%. I actually did a workshop not too long ago where I did like a creative writing session with some children, and the kids were so talented, you know. And it's just one of those things where people don't understand, like you said kind of in the beginning, that you can actually make a career out of doing poetry.
Yes.
And that's the only thing that holds people back. The reason that more people are going on that avenue to becoming a rapper is because they see the monetary benefit of it at the end. Because if more people saw that you could make money doing poetry, then more people would branch out and, you know, at least dabble in it and do both. But as far as the children goes, like, it definitely, it's like, when we did the program, I had a topic, we did a little free writing, and one of the girls that was there, she wrote something that was so deep and so meaningful, and it was like, you can tell that she had a little bit inside of her that she wanted to get out. And so just being able to let people know, like, it's okay, like, this is a good outlet for you, you know, like, this is a safe space for you to be with your own thoughts. Like, everything doesn't have to be shared, but that release is so important. And I went to a poetry event not too long ago. Shout out to Joe. He has an event at the Charles H. Wright Museum, and I brought my daughter with me, and she likes writing too. And this particular event, it was 2 other little girls there, and they're seeing, you know, us perform, and her dad's a host, and so they want to get on stage now. And so Kennedy's like, give me something to read. And I'm like, here, you can read something. And then at the end of the event, we had them all go up and they read a Maya Angelou poem. And it was just so nice to see, because you see the kids gaining their confidence to be performers, getting on stage, reading, you know, like, all of these small things are so important, you know, like, that is a confidence builder. You know, it's like creative writing. This could spark anything. You know, you start off as a poet and now you're doing commercials. You know, now you're doing branding. It's just like a stepping stone that a lot of people don't know that they can use. But yeah, it's really important and useful. I would definitely like promote like more children getting into it for
I
sure.
definitely agree. I think you made a very good point. When it comes to a lot of the arts, so poetry, writing, dancing, a lot of times it is so. Well, I remember growing up. I don't know if they still doing that because you can make money just about doing any damn thing. But they
Right.
did used to say you can get that degree. That degree ain't gonna make you no money. You ain't gonna make no money doing that. You need a real job. That's what they always used to say. You need a job that's gonna make you some money. And because we didn't get to see that representation, we didn't know that it was even possible. And because rap has taken over the game and you can get famous making the piece of nothing, they just go rapping and it's like, but you can definitely write poetry and make a living and be good at it.
Yep.
You don't have to become a rapper. And even some of your favorite rappers, if they're even decent, is inspired by poets. Literally are inspired by poets. So I really love that you said that because that is a big thing. The monetary gain is what they immediately see because a lot of times it's like everybody need money to live, you know? So I think you made a very good point. I absolutely love
and
that.
let me tell you a success story about this. And I tell people this. So as most people know, my husband is a rapper.
Yes,
but I told him to enter the Motown Mike spoken word competition, which is a poetry competition. He wrote his first poem ever and won the whole competition.
Look at it.
Literally, he won.
Look at it.
And now, like, he gets opportunities. Like this past weekend, he was performing for Motown for their Motown Mike winner showcase. And so it's like, you know, you didn't even know that you could do that. You know, and I'm like, this is what it could be. And I think I'm kind of notorious for being like tapping rappers on the shoulder, like, hey, you should try poetry. Like when I was in college, I remember I got to shout out my boy Rob Rich. He is super talented poet. He was primarily a rapper first. And he used to come to our open mics and like rap all the time. And one day I put him to the side and I was like, I really feel like you could find a home here with poetry. And when I tell you, he hooked up with like some of the other people in our group and they wrote some of the best pieces. Like it was beautiful. And every day, like sometimes even if he like doing an interview, he'll be like, yeah, Ash Cass told me, to come try it out. And I'd be happy all the time because I'm like, that's just one life that I changed, like not literally. Like I changed his life, but it's just one perspective that you altered a little bit and it worked out. It's just people don't be knowing that it's possible. Like it's a real and it's fun. It really is, especially if you rapping because you like performing. Like poetry performances are very, very similar. Like people don't know. It's like, man, come to a poetry event. You're gonna be very, very surprised because it's not the way that people think it is. When people say the word poetry, they're thinking roses are red, violets are blue, and no, that's not how it is.
It's really
right? It's not like that. It's so much more.
I'm a huge fan of, like, I always tell my friends, like, we want to do something, let's do a comedy night, let's do a poetry night. Like, I love them. And I think the very first one I ever went to was I went to They Say. This was years ago. This was probably over 10 years ago at They Say, probably like 2011, 2012. They had a poetry night at They Say off Jefferson.
They used to have it all the time there, yeah.
Yep, I went there. They had it back in like 2011, 2012. And ever since then, I was like, yo, I gotta go. Like, I love the environment. I just love the atmosphere. And it's just like, it just make you feel good. It just really make you feel good. And it is a good time. It's definitely something to get you thinking. And I feel like you made a good point that it can be so fulfilling. I feel like people they do have a set mind about what it's like, and it's like, no, like you could take a little detour on the side and come this way. Let me show you what you can really do. So I definitely agree with that. I wanted to ask you, like, I know there's one thing to have poets that you really like, and I know you like them for various reasons, but let's see, what kind of, I don't know how to say this. What takeaways do you get from performers? Because you guys are performers, and so just outside of the written part, when you come to perform, like, is there anybody else is there any entertainers or anybody you look up to when it comes to performing?
Oh man, that's a good question. Performers I look up to, I'm definitely gonna have to say Beyonce because she is a outstanding performer, and also Kendrick Lamar is a amazing performer too. Like going to his concerts, I was like, and then Chris Brown. Those three people who I haven't seen Beyonce live, but I saw the other two live, and it's just like a step above. You know, like some people you just feel like they're just doing a lot more than other people. And those people just kind of stick in my mind. Like when I went to Chris Brown first concert, you could tell that, you know, some people just really engage with the audience differently. You know, they perform differently. They care about what the people that came here to see, what they get out of it. And that's kind of what I take to my performances. Like I feel like if I'm coming to, if you know that I'm gonna be on stage, just expect a whole galaxy experience. You know, like I want to be known as like, she coming, I know it's about to be good. Like I want to be synonymous with success and performances. You know, like that's what I want my reputation to be. And that's what I try to work towards. I work towards that, and I do a lot behind closed doors. Like I practice. I posted something on my page, and it was like, tell me something that you wish more people would know. And I'm like, before slam, I practice like 45 minutes a day, because you gotta work. Like I have a very sensitive throat, which people would be surprised. But when I was a cheerleader in high school, and I strained my voice a lot, and so it used to be like Tuesday, we'll have a game. My voice is gone. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, my voice will be back for the game, and then over the weekend it'll be gone, and then be back on Tuesday. So I gotta take extra care of my voice, so I'm ready to get on stage and be at that level. So I gotta work on, you know, like my facial expressions, my hand motions, you know, the timing of everything, and all of that stuff is just like, you can't just get up and get on stage and be like, okay, I'm about to do it. And then especially like with competitions, memory is very important. Like that's one thing that takes you a step above anyway. You know, like if you reading off a paper, you reading off a phone versus somebody that's memorized, you know, that's like, okay, how does that look and compare? Is that what you want to do? You know, like, is this fine with you for that performance? Sometimes it is, depending on the situation. But for me, I try to make my standard as I'm going to be 90% of the time, if you see me performing, I want to be memorized.
I love
and that take practice.
I think you made a very good point. People might really underestimate the work that goes on behind the scenes into performing. They think that, you know, dancers have to keep their body in shape, but poets have to keep their mind and their voices in shape in order to perform. You can't just get up there. You can't just get up there and do that. You have to be prepared. And mentally, like, you got to keep your mind together. You got to be able to clear your mind out to make space for you to remember your poem when you go up there and it's time to perform.
Yep,
That's
exactly.
a really good point. Like, do you have it? Wait, before we go any further, let me get this comment here. What's up? Simple. You're the woman who is a poet, like Tupac worked for Hitsville. Don't worry, I'm a writer, so yeah, you'll understand. Okay, Orlando's Brooks said that. Somebody said, hey y'all. Somebody said my homie Galaxy. Somebody said my students always amaze me. So what exercises or like warm-up do you do to make sure that you keep your mind in tip-top shape and that your voice is there for you to perform when it's time?
You said what exercises do I do?
Yeah, like, do you have like any warm-up exercises? Do you like only drink tea? Make sure you don't drink any alcohol. Like, I know singers go through like extreme lengths to make sure that their voice is in top shape. Do you take the same or try to take the same care of your voice as they do?
I try to do more so like continuous. Like for me, I'm not really like a sweets person, so I don't do sweets. So I try to drink all water. I drink tea more so after than before because it's more soothing. I don't know. I don't usually do it before, but I really don't drink anymore. I used to drink, but I don't drink before my performance. Like if I go to a performance and then I win, then I'll drink because like it's a celebration. Like I said, I'm not drinking unless I got something to celebrate. So, but that's one thing I'm really strict. Like I don't drink before I perform because I need to be clear. Like I need to be clear. And then I do, like I said, a lot of meditation. And one of my techniques is I go outside and I like pace and I like bounce a ball at the same time as me performing out loud. So I can kind of just like know that it's going to be distractions, but I still got to stay focused.
Wow.
So that's like my little process. So I go outside and I'll be like bouncing the ball and like working and like say it out loud, like out in my backyard. So I can be like at whatever, you know, range. Cause sometimes it's not a microphone. Sometimes it is. And you got to be prepared either way.
Wow, that's a good point. You know what? When you said you walk and you bounce the ball to prepare for distractions, it made me think of, like, I don't know if it was true or not, but it made me think of Beyonce dad saying that they practice throwing things at them, their shoe falling to prepare them from anything, just to know that the show must go on. So when you said that, I was like, oh my God, that sounds just like Beyonce did, preparing them for anything. You have to be ready.
I'm telling you, it's been crazy, especially now when I have the baby. She walked on stage for one of my performances.
Wow.
And I just kept going. I was like, you know what? She ended up walking all the way up to me. I picked her up and I was still going. I was like, you know, this just gotta go with the flow.
You do.
Yes, like just gotta keep it moving. I was like, this has never happened to me before, obviously, but I'm like, you know, keep it moving. And it was funny because the piece that I was doing, one of the lines, I was like, I got 2 kids, and so I just happened to pick her up at the time. So I was like, you know, we're gonna make it work.
I love that. I love it. And so, what's been your favorite performance so far?
Oh man,
what's been your favorite performance?
That is a good question. My favorite performance. Okay, my favorite performance was the first time I went down to Cincinnati. It's a slam. Shout out to Doo-Wop, her Cincinnati poetry slam. So I went with Ari Lane. She's another poet from Detroit. We went down to Cincinnati for a slam. It was my first time going out of state for a slam, and the first piece I did, I was like, okay, I'm about to turn it up in here, you know. So I did my little piece. I turned it up. Everybody like, okay, you know, this is a stranger. We don't know who she is, but she out here. And then I did another piece, like a second piece, and the crowd reaction is something I never experienced ever in my life. Like it's a feeling that I'll be chasing for the rest of my life. Like, for real. Wow. It was crazy. Like, it was crazy. Like, when I walked off stage, I told somebody, I was like, it felt like I hit a game winner. Like, it literally felt like I hit a buzzer beater when I stepped off stage. Like, the crowd was going crazy. It was strangers coming up to me like it was, it was crazy. I never experienced nothing like that before, because I was there and it was literally me and my sister and everybody else that, like, we had rode with some other people, but they was all there for Ari when she came. So it was literally, like, in my mind, it's like me and my sister. And by the time I left, everybody was like Team Galaxy. Like, we here with you. We rocking with you. Like, it was dope. And second to that, I would say I just did the slam recently. I won the All City Slam semifinals, and I did Inferno to close out the show. And after I did Inferno, like, the crowd was going crazy. I ended up winning, and I got back on stage, and I was like going to stage to, like, you know, accept my award or whatever. And somebody was like, do another piece. Like, somebody screamed in the audience. And so I, like, looked at Joe and I was like, can I do another piece? He was like, yeah, go ahead. And so I did my piece, Why So Serious, where at the end I was like, because I don't lose. And the crowd just went crazy. Like, they just exploded. Like, and I just, like, took a step back from the mic and I was all like, yeah, you know. Because, of course, it was like after I was announced the winner, so it was like way more impactful, and everybody was like, yeah. So those are my 2 favorite performances so far. Those was like some real super, super dope moments. Like, for sure.
First off, I don't know, maybe because you are a poet, that this has just been like, I'm just sitting here like a kid, like, okay.
It's a lifestyle people don't be knowing. They don't know how it is. It's a crazy lifestyle. It's fun. It really is.
I think this conversation has really, I know it's opened my mind, because I know I didn't even think about it that deep. But I'm like, you know what? Like, you do make it sound so fun. You make it sound so fucking fun. You make it sound fun. You make it sound fulfilling, because I feel like that's most important, especially when it comes, you got to take your time and write. A lot of people don't write shit nowadays. The only time somebody write some shit, they might sign their signature on some paper. That's most right people doing, unless they in school. Like, niggas is typing and texting all day. Right. So to put that manual energy to a pen and a paper every time, or even if you're not typing or whatever, but I think that says a lot. It's a lot of energy. It's very intentional. and strategic, and it's just like you make it sound so fun and fulfilling. And I'm really excited. Like, I really hope that the audience listening is like, if you don't write poetry or you want to try it, I hope that this conversation really is like, let me try some shit out, even if it ain't good.
Yes,
Just
try
to
it.
try
You'll
it.
get better. You'll get better. And I don't always win. I lose too. I just lost the last slam that I was in. Like, well, I'm not gonna say I lost, but I didn't come in first place. So, you know, I wasn't the winner, but it's still fun. It literally is fun because it's like I'm taking a 3-minute piece of, you know, words that I didn't put together, and I'm going on stage to say, like, these words that I wrote are better than other words that other people wrote. You know, it's
Right?
like as simple as it is, but it's complex at the same time. You know, it's like it takes a lot of creativity and confidence too, because public speaking is
Absolutely.
actually the most like the number one phobia in the world is public speaking, the most
Yeah,
popular. So, you know, it's like you're already doing something that most people are not brave enough to do anyway. And
exactly.
then you saying, hey, I want you to grade me on this. And you like, you know, sometimes you get graded, you like, oh my gosh, like that was low. But then you think like, okay, for me, losing it just fueled my fire. You know, I just always want to go back to the drawing board. Like, okay, okay, that didn't work. Let me figure out a different strategy. Like, I went down to Cincinnati. The first time I went, I ended up getting third place. The second time I went, I got put out in the second round. I didn't even place. But then I went down like 2 weeks ago and I ended up getting second place. So it's like, you know, you can't just give up. You just gotta keep doing it. And if it's something that you love, you're gonna keep doing it. You're gonna
I
find
love
a
that.
way, you know, to just be like, okay, let me see what I can
I
do.
agree. I definitely agree. I think that listening to you talk about it, it seems like in today's age, a lot of kids just want attention. They want clout. They want all the stars in the eyes on them. And I really feel like they could get that feeling, even though it's a terrible clout is a terrible thing to be chasing. But that level of that level of attention can be really steered into something fun and fulfilling if they
Mm-hmm.
try poetry. I
Yeah,
really feel like
for
they could get.
sure.
I feel like you will really not only will you find an outlet for yourself, you will improve so many skills in your life. You'll gain a confidence. You'll get that performance because I think a lot of people want to be on stage and perform. And it's like, come perform some poetry. I bet you gonna
Exactly.
like it. You know what I'm saying? And I bet you will
Exactly.
find other ways to be inspired through any type of artist. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I don't know. I'm in my head spinning my wheels right now. Like, I need to bring poetry to these kids. I don't know what event I need to put together, but I need to do something to show kids that there are other ways to get money and get positive attention and find something very fulfilling long term.
Mm-hmm. For
Um,
real. Because I be telling people, like, take that beat away, and what do you really have with some of these rappers? You know what
bingo,
I mean? Like, take that beat
bingo.
away, and now it's not as easy as it was because you could say, what do they always say about T-Pain, Wisconsin? You know, he
Oh yeah,
rhymed those two
Wisconsin.
words. Right.
Mansion in Wisconsin.
Right, exactly. You know, like if you're on stage and you saying something like that with no music behind it, somebody gonna be like, "What? Like, what was that supposed to
Exactly.
be?"
Exactly. You're absolutely right. I love that.
But
Okay,
like
so we're gonna.
that. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, what I was gonna say is like, yeah, and as far as like attention goes, it is a it. If you wanted to be somebody that's like getting that type of clout and stuff like that is definitely possible. Like some stuff I've seen people like when I was in Cincinnati, this lady came up to me and she was like, I drove 3 hours to see you. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, first of all, I just drove
Major
4 hours
ego
to get here.
boost.
I'm like, I drove 4 hours to get here. She's talking about she drove 3 hours. So you just have to think about like, okay, what type of impact am I making if somebody is
Exactly.
driving 3 hours to come and see me perform? You know, it's like, okay, that kind of woke me up to be like, okay, what I'm saying is starting to hold some weight. You know, it's important. Like I need to start being conscious of that too, you know, and because when
Yeah.
more people looking, you got to think about like you can't just say anything at that point. You know, you got to start thinking about it.
Yeah. You brought up a really good point. Last week's episode, I sat down and I talked with a music blogger. Shout out to Robin Yvette. And we talked about our obligation to our community when we put out our artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel obligated to speak responsibly when you're putting out your poems? Do you feel like I could put this out and it could be detrimental to my community or my family? Or do you be like, this is how I feel, this is my art, and however way it come out or whatever it is, I'm putting it out?
Okay, I'm gonna say this. My art is for the community. It's for the culture. Now, I'm not gonna sacrifice my creativity, but most of my stuff is always gonna be uplifting to the Black community because that's what I believe in. I couldn't see, like, most of my stuff, like when people used to ask me, like, if you had to describe your poetry, what would you say? I would say like edgy or like make people uncomfortable or something like that. But it's not Black people that's getting uncomfortable. It's other people that don't like to see, you know, because for me, my poetry is based off being a Black woman in America. So if my poem is about don't touch my hair, I'm sorry, but if Karen just touched my hair, guess what? Now we about to talk about it on stage. If you're uncomfortable, that, you know, I don't mind making certain groups uncomfortable, but I'm for my people. And I like writing about uplifting and empowering and just my life experiences. But yeah, I'm not gonna do nothing detrimental for my culture, because I'm all for us getting together, building wealth together, becoming stronger, waking up, being more conscious. You know, nah, I can't do that. I'm for my people, 100%, always.
That's the fucking highlight, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, I be making these highlight reels. I be like, I just be taking notes when we're live right now. And I'm going to be, tonight, I'm going to be like, I got to get that part when she said she for people. That is going to highlight. I love that. I think that, I think that it's important that we're mindful and intentional about the work we put out. Yes, it can absolutely be your work. It can be how you feel. But when you, like you said, when you get to a certain point and you start realizing that people are listening and hanging on your word, you got to be intentional about that word you put out. Because even if your word don't make somebody act on something, it planted the seed in somebody else's mind who might act on it. And you have to be intentional about it. You have to be cautious about what you say and how it impacts your family and your community. You're absolutely right. And I appreciate you saying that. I really do. I appreciate you not just saying, I appreciate you for believing in that. Because that's just the truth. I
feel like it's so many topics that just Black people don't get an opportunity to speak on because they don't have a platform. So it's like, I'm creating this platform. So guess what? I'm creating this space and y'all here at my space. And that's sometimes, like, I did a performance recently where I was doing a lot of my pro-Black pieces. And I was like, I don't really care if it's not an all Black audience because y'all asked me to come. And if you asked me to come, you already looked at my portfolio and you know what I'm about to talk about.
Okay.
So, like, don't get it twisted because you knew what you signed up for. And when you signed that line, you asked for Galaxy and you know what I be on.
You know why I'm here.
I root for everybody Black, straight up.
Okay.
Like you say, okay? Like,
you know why I'm here. You know why I'm here. Oh my God. I love that. I really, first of all, I just want to say this because I really enjoyed this interview with you so much. And I feel like just the last one, the one before this and yours, I feel like I'm going to definitely push these because I really want kids to see that there are other ways to be fulfilled in life. You know what I'm saying? And I really appreciate you for doing what you do because you're so damn good at it. Like, you really are. You. Like, you are good at it. And that piece is so fucking literally fire. I'm saying fire, you guys, but you got to go check it out on her page because it really is fire. And we're going to wrap it up, but I got two more things to ask you. Okay, so in the piece, I'm talking about the lava piece. What is it called so I can make sure
It's called Inferno.
Inferno. Oh, that's so good, too. Ooh, it sounds good. Okay, so Inferno. You said something about 100 degrees. What is that a reference to? Because I thought it was a Lil Wayne reference.
Yes, so it is. So because I said the fireman said I'm hotter than 100 degrees. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm like, bro, this sounds like a Lil Wayne line.
Right, because it's like the Hot Boys, Lil Wayne. That was
okay.
What I was thinking.
So then I'm good. Because I'm like, I know this sounds like Lil Wayne. Where is this? And I could not find it anywhere. And I'm like, all right, y'all, maybe I'm sure. But okay. And then we want to close it out because part of this was talking about your brand, but I really wanted to focus on performing and writing and the impact that has on your life and stuff. But you talk about uplifting your people, and there's a journey that you have to go through to get to what you're doing right now. Your hair is locked.
Yep.
Tell me about that. What was the deciding factor? Like, I'm locking this.
You know what? I don't know. even know what made me pull the trigger, because I had been thinking about it for a while, and I did a hairstyle where I had like flexi rods. When it was time for me to take the flexi rods out, they did not want to come out. Like, my hair was like, I want to be locked. Like, my hair was like talking to me. And so that time went by, and then I was in the summertime, I was like, do I want to get box braids, or do I want to lock my hair? And everybody's like, just lock it. You know, everybody's like, lock your hair, lock your hair. And it was one comment in particular that somebody said. They was like, you should lock your hair and let it grow with your poetry. And when somebody said that, and I was like, that is so beautiful. And I was like, because my hair is always such a journey, and I've always had like a thing with my hair. Like, even some of my most viewed videos are of me with something with my hair. But I decided to lock my own hair, which I did it myself. And I just started the process. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna mess around and, you know, do the box braids and keep playing around and doing this. I'm like, I'm just gonna pull the trigger. And so I was ready for that move. And it's like, box braids was like one of my hairstyles, and so locks is just like my forever box braid style. And I feel like it's been the best decision. Like, I feel so good, like, doing it myself, just realizing, like, you know, what my hair like, what it doesn't like. It's been a really nice journey, like, just getting to know that piece of me.
I love it. I feel like everybody goes through it. I feel like everybody goes through the stage with their life, and this is like, should I take them out? Did you ever get to a point, or did you get that point like, bro, I made the wrong decision, I'm about to undo it, I don't like it? Because I feel like they gotta grow, especially if you don't lock them at a certain length and they short, and now you gotta figure it out. What was that like for you?
My hair has only been locked for like 2 or 3 months. So
did you hit that point already?
No, not yet. No, I don't think I'm gonna get to that point. Just because I just been feeling so much more connected to my hair since I've locked it. Like, I feel like, more than anything, I feel like, why did I wait so long?
Wow.
But I've been natural since like 2017, I think. Like, I haven't got a perm since in years and years, but I like cut down on like all heat and stuff like 2017. So I had been natural with just like my curls for a long time. But this is just like a whole different process. Like, I don't know, seeing my hair in the morning, feeling it, and, you know, like, retwisting it all the time and stuff. It's just like, Kyle was telling me, like, when you get your locks, you just gonna be twisting them all day, and that's really what I do all day, just play with them and just twist them.
I do see that. I love it. I think that a lot of people, I know when JayZ got his locks and Cole locked his hair, everybody was saying, oh, they just look like, well, mainly Cole, because he be dressing like, you know, very free. Yeah. And they was just saying, like, he like a bum. And I was saying, and it was like, he let his hair, him and JayZ let their hair go everywhere. And I was thinking to myself, like, when you reach a certain level, or when you get to a certain point, you got to do something to keep yourself grounded within you. Something got to make you go back to your roots. And I feel like it never fails that people lock their hair. It's something about wanting to search within, something wanting to feel more connected, not only just to, like, to yourself, but like to your body, to who you are as a person. And it's like, and it's for some reason for us, it's our hair. It's always, I always see people lock it. It's something with locking their hair. It's just like, I feel like myself. I feel like me. And
I feel blacker. I don't know why. I just feel more in touch with, like, I don't know. It's like I feel more in touch with nature, like, more in touch with my community. Like, I feel less self-conscious about my hair, even if it's not like retwisted or anything like that. It could be looking crazy. I got a video on my page where my hair is literally all over the place, and they're like, I'm like, I like your hair, can I touch it? And I like disappear. And I look at that video, and I was like, so many years ago, I would have looked at that video and was like, what are you doing? Why do your hair look like that? But it's like, my hair is doing it. You know, I'm letting my hair do her. You know, she doing her. That's what she likes to do. I just let it do.
I love that. That's a highlight too, y'all. So look out for me. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I would have posed that question. What is it about liking your hair?
I don't know what it is, but it's something. Yes, I don't know what it is, but I'm so happy that I did it. It's definitely a decision that I love 100%. Like, I don't regret it at all.
Oh,
I think if anything, like if I ever got tired, I would probably just cut them all off and not like comb them or anything like that. Like I would start from scratch before I just like untangle them.
I love that.
I love my puff balls and my curls so much. So I was surprised that I love my locks so like this deep, because I was into my wash and goes. Like that was my style and my puff balls. But yeah.
I love that. That's dope. I'm not gonna be looking more into this. I want to know what it is, because I feel like people just be really wanting to be connected, and I don't know why locks do it. Something. I feel like it's conserving some type of energy or something.
I feel like Samson. Literally, I feel like Samson and Delilah. You know, he was getting all his power from his hair. Like I feel like, I ain't cutting my hair no more. Like, come on, energy.
I love that. All right, so we're going to wrap it up, Ashley. I have thoroughly enjoyed you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Much. Talk about fun and fulfilling. This episode was very much that. We're going to go out the same way we came in. But, Ashley, you got to tell people where they can find you. And you got to give us something that you're grateful for.
Okay, so y'all can find me, of course, right here on Instagram at simple.galaxy. It's spelled out SIMPLEDOTGALAXY. And anywhere else is Galaxy the Poet. And yeah, so what am I thankful for? I'm thankful for this conversation because it was really heartwarming. I really hope that people watching the show will understand that you can make a living. Like the thing to take away is your gifts will make room for you.
Woo,
so you know, people say it all the time, and it's absolutely the truth. If you're doing something that you love, you can literally make money doing it. So don't think about the money, just think about the happiness. Joy is the destination.
Woo! I think I want that tattoo. That's a nice tattoo, bro. I like that as a tattoo. I love that. I would say I'm gonna go out the same way I came in. So I would say I'm grateful, definitely grateful for this conversation. You know, I don't know. I really am grateful for this conversation. After I wrap this up, y'all gonna see my post afterwards, because sometimes I'm in a moment I can't put the words together. But I'm definitely grateful for tonight's conversation. Very fun and very fulfilling. I want to thank all our beautiful viewers for joining us tonight. Everyone that came to support Ashley, thank you guys. Yes. Make sure you guys follow her. She gave you her handle. Make sure you follow her. Be on the lookout when she's doing these slams. Make sure y'all be on the lookout for any poetry or comedy slams in your area. Not comedy slams, comedy nights or poetry nights in your area. You guys definitely should attend. I would recommend it. They are October 28th. October 23rd. If anybody's in Detroit, I'm competing for the All City Slam Final Championship. So if you want to come to a amazing, super talented, super high energy, crazy poetry event, the next one in Detroit is October 23rd, and you do not want to miss it. The last one sold out, so get your tickets when they get up there, y'all. So yeah, I think that's all we got for tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed tonight. I want to thank my beautiful audience for joining us tonight. Thank you to our lovely guest Ashley for joining us tonight, y'all. She has been great. Okay. If you missed it, you can always rewatch this episode tomorrow at noon on our YouTube channel, or you can just rewatch it after I post it. That's all I got for y'all. My name is Cherrell On, you guys. I'm the host of Let's Talk the Show in this and podcast. I'll see y'all next Tuesday. Peace.
See ya.